Hey, it's Tuesday tea time with Dorarena, and I want to welcome all our first time viewers and those that may be watching the replay. Welcome. We are presented from Women of Wisdom. We are a nonprofit organization here to bridge the generational gap between the younger ladies, preteens, to seasoned women. We have women all the way up in our 70s. Yes, being a part of passing on that vital knowledge to one another so that we can benefit and the next generation can benefit as well. And you know what? When you pass on vital knowledge and wisdom, it will benefit all generations. Okay. All right. So, as I normally do, I always like to introduce my tea. And I decided tonight again to do the tea that I did last week because I'm liking this. So this is it. Lavender, what does that say? Lavender chamomile. And you can see that it has the probiotics in it, which is supports healthy digestion. Okay. And we need, as women, we need healthy digestion because we lack fiber more than men lack fiber. So it takes a little extra fiber for us. All right. All right. And I have my new cup with me. Yay. So I hope that you have your cup with you as well and that you fill your cup up with lots of wisdom tonight. All right. Tea time. Ooh, that's good. Quick break again. Boy, that's good. Okay, listen. The topic that we're going to cover tonight is well, it's gonna be good. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you straight up. Just open up your heart to receive truth, and when you do that, it will cause you to mature and grow, and it will cause you to be able to live the dream. All right. Okay, so here we are tonight talking about responsibility. Don't turn me off yet. Okay, and I just put on there a core value because responsibility is one of uh, women of wisdom's core values, because we believe unless you take responsibility, then you can't really go anywhere in life and you're not going to grow or mature. It takes taking responsibility. And I'm going to share some things with you tonight to help you to be able to understand that. Also, before we get into that, I want to say that I know that if you had to, or you was blamed, or responsibilities that were put on you that you did not, it didn't it didn't belong to you, it wasn't yours. It can be a little difficult to work in this area, but if you open yourself up to the truth, it will help you become free from that. And you will learn how to take responsibility for those things that you should and not take responsibility for things that you should not. When I found out that I was no longer responsible for my husband, I was like, that was pressure off my shoulders because sometimes we just feel like we're supposed to be responsible for what they do or what they say, even with our children, as they become adults or whatever. No, You have to let that go. Especially if they're adult children. Okay, so let's look at the first slide here. Responsibility is accepting that we are the cause and the solution of a matter. That's pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next slide, but I want to share with you an area where, you know, I experienced this firsthand. So before we go into that, let's read this slide. Taking responsibility for our actions is crucial for building meaningful relationships, personal growth, and living the dream. Our decisions, actions, and behavior determines our tomorrow. You know, when I was a teen, and I blame my dad for my pregnancy. And it was a long time because what happened was I got accused of doing something that I was not doing. And, you know, that turned out to be a real bad situation because he, you know, responded in a bad way. And they were talking about taking me out of the home, you know, because of it. But so, you know, me, you know, I'm mad. I done got accused for something that I didn't do. And I just thought to myself, I might as well go ahead and be doing it anyway. But see, that was my decision. And that was the beginning of my teen mother journey. Okay. So for years, I blamed my dad for getting pregnant, and I just thought it was his fault. And you know, for a long time, I did not want to accept the responsibility for my own actions. And you know, I just did not want my life to turn out like that. And so I had to blame somebody for it instead of taking responsibility myself. But you know what? As I got older, it was like, okay, when you decided to do that, was your dad there when you made that decision? And it was like, oh, okay, yep. And that was another journey of me growing up and realizing that the mistakes that I make is my own, and that I had to take responsibility for them. And I'm the one that can change the situation. And you know what? It doesn't make a difference whether it's negative or positive. Even when we get into arguments with people or our children, our spouse, whoever it is, we still need to take responsibility for what we say and what we do, because there are some things we don't have to say and we don't have to do. Even if we're being provoked, it is still our decisions to allow our emotions to be affected like that and to respond. It takes maturity to be able to not respond to something when, you know, the tension is high, but it is not, it is, you are capable of doing that, you know, and it just takes a quality decision, stepping back out of your anger or your emotions and evaluating, okay, now if I say this, what's going to happen? Is this going to escalate? Is this going to solve the problem? And sometimes you just got to not say anything, because you know what? There is wisdom in silence. How about that? Okay, let's look at our next slide, because what we decide to do will determine our tomorrow. And you can believe that. You can bank on that. Let's go to our next slide. Um, Proactively identifying and addressing problems mature us. This is one reason why we should take responsibility for our part in a matter. Because you know what? It will cause you to grow up. When you uh, identify and address the problem and recognize whether or not are, you know, come on, am I the problem? Am I the problem in this situation? And, you know, how can we resolve this issue in a mature way? You know, the thought that came to me, do you know that it's a shame for adult people to fight one another physically, fight one another when you could do more uh, by just having an intelligent conversation? All this stuff is just blown out of proportion, and then it goes to a level where it is totally out of control. Now people get hurt. And we need to take responsibility. You know, you don't want government officials making you take responsibility because you did something that was outside of even your own personal convictions, because you allow somebody to take you there. And, you know, sometimes we want to say, you know, well, they provoked me, you know, and they did this and they did that. Yes, I'm sure, you know, I've been there, done that. But you know what? We still have a choice to choose how we respond to things. And you want to make sure that you respond in wisdom. How about that? Easier said than done, I know, but it can be done. And it's better to take the high road and then taking the low road. Look at this. What I thought I had another quote on here. Oh, okay. Look at what George Washington Carver said. I thought to myself, oh, okay. And you know, he was a successful man. So he said 99% of all failures come from people who have the habit of making excuses. Do you know, when we blame people, do you know that that falls in the category of making excuses? And we make excuses. Well, come on, let's do Flip Wilson, okay? Remember him? The devil made me do it. He would always blame it on somebody, blame it on the devil. Half the time, people be blaming stuff on the devil, and the devil be like, wait a minute. I wasn't even involved in that. That was your choice. You know, so we need to take responsibility for our own actions and not make excuses for our behavior. If we do that, we will always stay in the baby stages of life. And when you do that, there's no way you can live up to your full potential, because it takes taking responsibility to live that high. Okay. So let me give you a few practical things to do to help with taking responsibility, okay? Here we go. Number one, make yourself accountable to your words. So what you say, make yourself accountable to what you say, and not blame other people for what comes out of your mouth. You chose to say that, okay? And you know what? Remember this. What goes around comes around, okay? So what you say, and you know what? Somebody told me this long time ago when I was growing up, they were saying that, you shouldn't say some things about some people because a lot of times you talking about yourself. And so take that under consideration, and it's better for us to say the right things because words can have consequences. All right. I know that was for somebody. Number two, keep your word to yourself and others. Okay. So if you um, make a promise or something, one thing I decided long ago when I first started having kids, I was like, I am not promising my kids something that I cannot deliver. And so what I would just tell them, okay, well, you know what? I'm not promising that. Okay. Yes. Okay, Pam. Let's see what one of Pam's, keep your word to yourself and others. Yes, ma'am. And make yourself accountable to your words. Those are so important. Yes. Thank you. And so anyway, yes, number three, purpose to not play the blame game. Now that's easy to play the blame game. And so if we're gonna blame somebody, we need to blame ourselves. I mean, and I'm not saying don't put the blame where it belongs, but if you're the one, I mean, come on, admit it that you're the one, and not keep pointing the finger. You heard that when you point the finger at somebody else, remember the thumb is pointing back at you. That's another one. Okay. Number four, stop taking pride in being right all the time. Oh, you know what? Come on. That's the reason why a lot of people blame other people because they want to believe that they're right all the time. There is no one that's right all the time. You know, come on. Now you evaluate yourself on that, okay? And that will help you, descend a little bit. You done ascend a little too high. And pride comes before a fall. And so you don't want to take pride in thinking that you're always right. That's really what that is you're lying to yourself, okay? And that will prevent you. That's one of the things that prevent us from taking responsibility because we start lying to ourselves and we start telling ourselves, I'm not responsible for that, and as adults, I mean, that's just, I'm just going to say it, that's just childish. So I love you, but I got to tell you the truth because that's what's going to help you. Our last slide. Look at this. The impact of taking responsibility. These are the results, and this is what you should want. Okay. It demonstrates a strength of character when you take responsibility for your behavior, your action, your words. Come on. And self-respect, because now you're respecting your own self and you're saying, okay, well, I deserve to not be lied to, so I'm not going to lie to myself. I don't want nobody else lying to me, so it's going to start with me. I'm not going to lie to myself. I am responsible for that. And that will give you self-respect, because you know what, we know our own selves when we lying. Okay, that's an innate thing. it gives us credibility with others when we take responsibility for our own actions. How about that? Let me get done with this. And makes us feel good about ourselves because we are being true to ourselves, okay? And that's very important that we be true to ourselves. I want to thank you for joining me tonight for Tuesday Tea Time. We do have a mother-daughter event coming up on the 2nd of November. It's going to be from 10:30 to 1:30. It is a free event because we want to spoil you, mother-daughter. So we're going to have a blast. Registration starts October the 5th. Go on our website and register October the 5th. So it is limited seating. So once we fill the seating up, the registration will be closed. Remember, Dorarena loves you, and to always do this. Walk in wisdom, my friend. All right.